Hello everyone, my name is Jenna, but you guys can call me Jen. Welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. Hi, hello! I just got finished up filming my almost favorites of 2025. So I figured, what's a better time to film my favorites of 2025 than right now? But if you haven't seen this video yet, go check it out. It will be 2 before this one. And you'll see it. It'll be in the thumbnail. Almost favorites. Blah, blah, blah. You know? But we are now going to dive into the 7 favorites of this year. Yes, it's not 10. A lot of my 5 stars this year were rereads because that's what I do. I reread the comforting books as one would. We're just going to dive into it. I'll take you through the journey that this year has gone through because this year has been an interesting one. We started off with reading 2 books that kind of around the same time that were started out amazing, like 5 stars. Okay, great. These are my 5 stars of the year so far. Going to be favorites of the year. Kind of a vibe. So we started with one that is technically a 4.5 star book, but was a 5 star in reading experience. Why? That is The Principal Moments by Esme Chikiemi Pearson. This book is a 4.5 star book, objectively. It's a 4.5 star book to me anyways. The reading experience of this one was a 5 star for me because I buddy read this with my friend Allie, and there was a lot of like voice notes back and forth, theorizing things that were going on with the world and the prophecies and the little epigraphs and everything. And we were so into this book that I honestly cannot explain how amazing the reading experience was. If you get a chance to buddy read something with someone, please do. And like take the time to like really dig into the book, theorize about it, talk to the other person about it, and like, especially when it's a really complex book like this, because this is such a fascinating book. It is a sci-fi fantasy Doctor Who vibe that kind of blew me away with the mastery that came out of it. And unfortunately, Esme Chikiemi Pearson did just announce recently that she is putting the rest of the series on pause, which makes me so sad because I want book 2 of this book so fucking bad. So fucking bad. And I'm so mad that Esme Chikiemi Pearson's put it on pause. But hopefully one day she comes back to it because this is one of the coolest worlds that I have ever read. I loved it. I loved this so much, and like the reading experience of it just elevated it even more in my heart, and that's why it's on this favorites list. In this book, we are specifically following Asha and Obi. Obi is a time traveler who has a time traveler's disease wherein he needs to stop fucking time traveling because he is falling apart every time he time travels. Think Doctor Who, right? Like he is Doctor Who. He's bopping around. He also is in love with the prince who is going to be the next king of England, which is really fun. Like, where is he? 1812? He's in 1812 at the beginning of this book. Yeah, we love the romance between Obi and the future king. It's been a really long time since I read this. Like, this was the beginning of this year, so forgive me of lack of details. But we have him, and then we have Asha, who is living in the year 6066. And she is under a very oppressive alien regime wherein she dreams of more, she dreams of getting out, and then one day Obi shows up and they get out and they go on this journey because she has been like prophesized to be something, and she gets told by this really creepy person that she has this journey to do to find her sister that she never even knew about, and it's this journey across time and space, and the characters in here were so good. And like the prophecy and the way that Esme Chikiemi Pearson knit that together with our characters, and it just, it was so good. And like we have this story that is described right at the begining between these 3 heroes, Adesola, Sensit, and Dandei, a shield, a sword, and a crown. And like the whole book is like there's this force that's coming up and starting to like threaten time as you know it, and it's this like big kind of extraterrestrial vibe of supernatural. I don't know how to describe it, but it's fascinating. And oh my god, do I recommend this? And even though we are probably not going to be getting book 2 for a really long time, if ever, I do recommend this because this was so satisfying to read. as it is. Like if I treat this as a standalone, it kind of falls apart because it does need the next book, but it works really, really, really well as a contained unit, I think. And I think everyone should read it. So fingers crossed that Esme J.K. Pearson does continue this series in the future, because holy fuck do I need book 2! Around that same time, I read my very first Octavia E. Butler with Parable of the Sower. This book fucking rocked my socks off, y'all. Like, it is so intense to be reading in the year of our Lord 2025, especially at the time that I was reading it. Like, fresh presidency in the United States. A lot of the shit that's going on in this book is literally our world just dialed up maybe 10%, not even. It's scary. It's really, really, really scary. And this was so wonderfully done. And this is a book full of nuance. And this set me off on a dystopian tangent at one point during this year. I even did a whole video about dystopians and talked about it for so long because this was gorgeous. And we need more books like this. Everything about this is so interesting. It was slow at the beginning and it took a while to get into it. And it is a slow survival book by the end of it, but it is just so good that I don't know what else to say. I did read the sequel to this and it pales in comparison to this first one, but I loved this. So we start by following Lauren Olamina, as she is like 15 years old. She's living in this gated community compound type situation as the world is starting to crumble around her outside, politically and environmentally and all this kind of stuff. And through various different things, like she loses a brother, she loses her father, she loses all this kind of stuff. And then like someone comes and attacks her home and her community and like sets it all on fire, and she gets separated from her mom and her other brother, like all this kind of stuff. She goes on her own journey. She joins up with a couple people from her community and they go north, sort of. North? Question mark? I don't know. Somewhere. They go somewhere away where they believe it's going to be safer. And she, at the time, is also like, her father was a pastor of some kind. And she has been tossing around the idea of her own religion and like finding truths in these different things and statements, and she's been recording them down as her own religion. And she starts this religion as the Earth Seed, and that like core religious truth is that God is change. And it is this religion that she like holds on her shoulders as she is going around, and she collects more people, and she ends up kind of creating her own little commune eventually. Like, it is this collection of people and her sharing her knowledge and her truth and her lived experience, and like creating this belief in other people, and also just like getting other people who may not necessarily believe in this religion right now, but it's like them just wanting safety and community and all this kind of stuff as they are traveling to these different places. And yeah, this is intense. This is unlike any other dystopian I've ever read. I read it in like one sitting, and I shouldn't have, but I just couldn't put it down. It deserves to be reread multiple times. It is fantastic. I highly recommend this. But then, I'm not sure of the order of these, but there's a couple weird little order situations in here. But the third book on my list of favorites this year is this cutie little novella, The River Has Roots by Amal El-Motar. This book is so fucking beautiful that I went out and spent my hard-earned money on this $32 hardback for this teeny little book because I loved this book so much. Everything about this is just so stunning. The writing is so fairy tale, lyrical, wonderful. And the audiobook is so cool because the entire time it's like a soundscape, and you're listening to the two sisters in this story sing in the background. You're listening to the babbling brooks and the trees and the music, and it is eerie and wonderful. And throughout the entire physical book, there are also drawings and illustrations kind of in the woodcutting style. No, not kind of, actually in the woodcut style. And it is fucking gorgeous. And I loved this so much. Like, the reading experience of this was stunning. So if you do want to pick this up, pick it up physically and also with your ears. Get it from the library. I got this from the library originally. Pick it up, get the audiobook, listen to it and read it at the same time because it is absolutely stunning. It is such a cool reading experience. It is about these two sisters. It is a little fairy tale. These two sisters sing to these trees, and it's gorgeous. Oh, it's gorgeous. It's a town on the edge of fairy. The mysterious Hawthorne family tends to the willow trees there. That's about these two sisters. I loved it. Read it. It's so fucking good. Like, that's literally all I'm going to tell you. It's very fairy tale. It's about two sisters. The reading experience was magical, lyrical, and incredible. Read it. And I believe I read Green Teeth by Molly O'Neill, which at the time kicked Parable out of its top spot as my favorite book of the year. So we had a lot of books kick other books out of the top spot of the year, to be honest. And I was having a great time. Every time I found a new book, I'm like, oh, kick that other one out because this one's better. But like not in a way of like anyone is genuinely better than the next. It just, my favorites kept changing, which usually doesn't happen. I'm a person who usually finds her favorite books in like February, March of a year, which is crazy. That's so early in the year. But I read a lot of bangers at the beginning of the years for some fucking reason. And then that just remains my favorite book of the year until the end. But this year I had a lot of tradesies. We had a lot of shuffling going on, which I love. I genuinely do. Anyways, Green Teeth by Molly O'Neill. This is a debut novel. And this book is not going to be for everybody. Why? I was doing a buddy read with Gina from TikTok and she DNF'd it and I gave it 5 stars because this book is my perfect book. It is everything that I want. It has the banter. It has the creepy, weird little vibe. It has like the tone that I really love. It is cozy horror, odd, Arthurian, just so fucking good. Like, oh my god, if you like T. Kingfisher's like Nettle and Bone, read this. If you like cozy fantasy, read this. Like, it's coming at it from all these different angles and I fucking loved it. Like, I want to reread this now because I just genuinely, I loved this so much. The tone of it was so perfect. This is my perfect, like if you want to read something to find out what my kind of book is, read this and then read Empire of Exiles because you guys know I love that book. And then Gideon the Ninth. Like, I want to do a video coming up in 2026 that like is an overview of books that are, if you want to read them to get a taste of what I love as a reader and like what are my perfect books. I'm going to do that video eventually in 2026 and this is going to be on it because this is exactly it. And the entire time I was reading this, I was like, this is it. This is what I want in a book, like no matter what. I'm so excited about this. Okay, so this is following Jenny Greenteeth, who is kind of a figure. She's such an interesting little figure. She's a lake-dwelling monster. She's a Jenny Greenteeth, and she has many different Jenny Greenteeth siblings and family members and daughters and all this kind of. She has a daughter named Jenny as well. Like it's all this kind of stuff, and she's just so interesting. And one day she saves a witch from drowning. The beginning of chapter 2 says, to give her credit, the witch only screamed for a minute or so. So at the beginning of this book, Jenny witnesses a stoning, a drowning of a witch, right? And there's like kind of the witch trial-esque vibes. And Jenny Greenteeth like goes up to this witch who's drowning at the bottom of her ocean or her lake or whatever. And she basically saves the squirrel. She saves her for some fucking reason because Jenny usually would just eat her, right? She's a lake-dwelling monster. She eats things that kind of come into her place, you know? She saves this witch and then that kind of kicks them off on this interesting little quest. Friendship and heart and there's something really dark. There's something really dark in the town nearby. There's an angry mob, you know, there's something malevolent in here. And near the end, we got to a point where I was sitting and I was surprised by the narrative to the point where I was just like sitting there sobbing. I was just like, what's happening? Sobbing. And the book was just, I really need to reread this. Like, I want to reread this now because I genuinely loved this so fucking much. And I want to be friends with Molly O'Neill. She was part of HearthCon this year. She was supposed to be, she had to cancel her spot in one of the panels because she had a family emergency, and I was so sad because I wanted to like see her. I know I wouldn't have met her because she wasn't on one of my panels, but I wanted to see her talk and I wanted to discuss things with her or like be in the comments and stuff like that. And I was so sad that she had to cancel because she was of a family emergency. But like, one day I shall meet Molly O'Neill. I shall be friends with her. She seems like such a cool person and I want to be friends with her. So Molly, if you hear this, hit me up, girl. I'm also a cozy fantasy author, please. Anyways, this inspired a story in me and I love when things inspire stories in me because this was so interesting and I don't know how to describe it. This is my perfect book. This is weird, it's cozy, it's got such a weird little tone to it, but it's so cutesy and it has lots of personality and so much voice and so much heart, and that is what I love in books. Then I read the next favorite book of the year, which ended up being The Raven Scholar by Antonia Hodgson. I thought it was Andrea Hodgson for a second, sorry. You're gonna see this book on a lot of people's favorites this year, and that is incredibly valid and fucking earned, because this book was fucking amazing. And this is why I love fantasy mystery so much, because it makes the most interesting stories, and they're so, like, fantasy and mystery just go hand in hand to me. Like, they are perfect for one another, and I love it so much, and there needs to be more of it. And I need to write my own. I need to get back on that train with Sage's Story and Far Horizons, but oh my god. So this world is so intricate and so wonderfully plotted, and the world building is just stunning. And the politic nature of things is so interesting. Anyways, we are following Nima Craw, who is a scholarly human being. She's part of the Raven house. There's the raven, the fox, the bear, the ox, all sorts of stuff. And she is like a right-hand man to the emperor kind of vibes. She is a scribe. She writes a lot of stuff. There is a competition that's starting to basically elect the next emperor. Because in this world, the emperor sits on the throne for like 20 some years, and then it is given up not hereditarily, but through this game, so that it transfers houses, essentially. And then another house has the rule over it. Nima's gonna be helping with the ceremonies and all this kind of stuff. But one day, right near the beginning, the person who is the like competitor for the Raven house is murdered. And Nima thinks it might be her. She doesn't remember. Something happened. She got very drugged by something, and she doesn't remember. And she's like, it could have been me. And I need to clear my name because I'm kind of freaked out that it might be me. And so she ends up taking on this role of solving this mystery of like who murdered this woman, and also becoming the Raven champion herself. And so it is a competition book. It is a mystery book, fantasy mystery book. It's so fascinating. Each one of the trials is so cool. Oh my god. This book is fabulous, and I cannot wait to reread it when the second book is coming out, because like this was delicious, and I highly recommend it. True, like I have never read anything like this. Like the narration style in here is so cool, because we have a sort of third person limited that slips into a first person omniscient vibe. And we have like these little slips and these little turns, and the audiobook narrator is so good when she narrates those parts, because she changes her voice just enough that you are aware that it's no longer whatever is focused on Nima, it is the Raven, the entity, the Raven, the Ravens, plural, maybe just one, who knows, who's like narrating stuff. And it's like she has, the narrator kind of does this little kind of creepy little crow voice and then slips back to just Nima. And it's, mastery. Another audiobook I absolutely fucking loved this year. This was so good. This was so good. I highly recommend it. Oh my god, please. Please read it. Then we're gonna take a little detour, because this year was also the year, this is the next book that I read after The Raven Scholar that usurped The Raven Scholar for my favorite spot, but this was the year that I discovered my love of Samantha Shannon's series, The Bone Season. So The Bone Season, this series, is unlike anything I've ever read. It is so fantastic. I read the first 4 books in this series in a span of a week, and I just couldn't stop. I devoured them in like 1 to 2 sittings each. I was obsessed, and at the same time, I was plotting my own little dystopian Project Glass. If you've seen that video back on my channel, I talk a lot about The Bone Season and like its inspiration for that, for my own book, and like what I was doing with story elements and all this kind of stuff. I have not felt like this for a series in so long. Like this is something that I was feeling when I was reading The Hunger Games as a kid for the first time. Like this is the feeling that I had when I was reading like Percy Jackson. This is the feeling that I was reading, like I wanted to keep going constantly. I was obsessed. I couldn't stop thinking about Paige and our and Morden. Everything about this is amazing, and I highly recommend you read the series. So good. Listen, okay? This series is so fucking good. Like every book is just so fuck. We've reached the point in this video where I have no words and I just make sounds about how good these books are, okay? So this is a revised. This is a revised book, because Samantha Shannon got the opportunity to revise her Bone Season series and rewrite the first few books as she wanted them to be, to thus continue with the series onwards with 5, 6, and 7 for the 10th anniversary of the Bone Season. she got that opportunity, and I'm so glad she did, because I read the original Bone season a number of years ago and I thought it was good, but it wasn't like, it didn't hook me and it didn't make me want to keep reading. This one, maybe it was also the mood that I was in originally, but like this one, holy shit. I got to the end of this book and I was like, well, I'm picking up the next one immediately, because I can't not. I love these books so deeply, and I'm so glad that Samantha Shannon got the opportunity to go back and revise this book that she wrote more than 10 years ago, and like is a book that she has, in a world and a character that she's had in her head for decades at this point, right? Like, it's so fascinating to be able to see an author get an opportunity like that to revise and to give people what they want now that they're older and wiser and a better author and all this kind of stuff. And this was fabulous, fabulous. So this follows Paige Mahoney, and she is an Irish woman, an Irish girl who lives in London, and she is a clairvoyant. And in this world, clairvoyants are hunted and preyed upon, and they are taken if they are like, if you use your clairvoyancy and it's very obvious that you're clairvoyant, you will be taken and imprisoned. And she is part of this gang of clairvoyants, and she is a very special clairvoyant that can like dream walk essentially. And it's so interesting that she's got a really interesting little power, and she's under kind of like this power hungry man, and like, you know, Jackson is very weird, but she's got her little family. But one day she gets imprisoned, like she gets found out, she gets chased across the city, and then she gets imprisoned. And she gets put in this compound, I believe it's being housed in Oxford, the university, where she is basically put under this extraterrestrial level weird being that is like, all of these beings are like running this camp almost, like they're running this sector because they want to basically have an army of clairvoyance. It's very weird, and they're there basically to like fight back these monsters that are like trying to break through from the other side of something. Like, they have a reason to be there, but they're so like they're so weird. They're so tall, and they are imposing, and they are terrifying, and they are abusive, and they're so weird. Anyways, Paige gets put under Arcturus, who is otherwise known as Warden. And he is basically like the woman who runs this whole thing, her like right hand, her concubine, essentially. Because of things that have happened in the past, he's like under a very short leash, and Paige just like doesn't want to be there, whatever, right? It's so interesting. And there's also like some vague trial stuff where they have to like level up and have to prove themselves, otherwise they are like stripped of all anything and like have to live in like the slums with the entertainers and all that. Like, it's a very interesting society that they're in, and it's baffling, and it's this and then it becomes like this attempt to escape, and it's so dystopian, it's so dystopic. But it's so fucking good, and the characters are amazing. This whole series is just fucking amazing, and I love it so much, and I really fucking hope we get book 6 in 2026. We are ending with my favorite book of 2025. Yes, I am filming this as of December, what is today? December 11th. So sure, I have the rest of the year to potentially read another favorite, potentially read another book that I really, really love. And this video is not going up today or this week. That I'm filming is going up next week. So I do have time between now and then, if I've read any more books, to add any more commentary, but I don't believe I will. I just don't think so. Unless the book that I'm reading now, or like the next book that I pick up surprises me. I just haven't been reading a lot, and not a lot of like really good ones recently. I don't know. But that's besides the point. So number 1 of the year I read it in September. You guys know it if you've been following me for a while, because I've been waxing poetic about this one. I've also reread this one since reading it for the first time in September, and it's so good. It's another Lady Night book, and that is The Second Death of Locke by V.L. Bovalino. This book is just everything to me. It is so good. So good. And this is another book that is not going to be for everybody, even though I don't understand anyone who criticizes this book or calls it boring or says that there's not enough connection between our two characters, because that's bullshit. And you're reading it wrong. Because I have never read a book where two characters are more clearly soulmates than this one. There's no book in this history of ever that I have read that has the level of yearning and connection and soulmate whatever that Kier and Gray do in this book. Oh, this book is stunning. Stunning. I reread it to annotate a second copy for my friend for her birthday in November, and rereading it, I feel like I understand more of like, if you don't vibe with this book. I see why. It is a little slower. There's some moments that I could probably criticize if I dug into it a little deeper, but like, I just don't care. This book is everything to me. It has some of my favorite tropes. Like, it has the hidden royal, it has the fallen kingdom. I love this so much. It is so achingly beautiful. The first time I was reading this, I had to put it down at like 40% because my heart hurt with how much yearning that these two characters were doing for each other. And like, I was yelling at our main character being like, bitch, open your eyes, he loves you, because there's a lot of moments in here where you just want to slap Grace silly. And then when like the romance is realized and they come together and everything gets better, and then everything gets so much worse, and it just, the whole time I was reading this, I was stressed as fuck. The first time, I was just so stressed the entire time because I did not know what was going to happen. I did not know if I was going to be crawling on my knees, sobbing and hating the author at the end of this, or if I was going to be cheering to the tops of the trees, or what have you. But like, everything about this book is perfect. This is another book that it's like, if you want to read what my perfect book is, this is it. Like, this is what I want my romantasy to be. This is what I want. And like, I don't care about the extraneous smut on every other page of a romantasy book. I want yearning. I want that Pride and Prejudice, like, hand touch level of yearning brought back into books. I want genuine connection between characters and not just physical attraction and lust. I want to read books where I understand why our characters like each other. Not just because they think the other person is beautiful and wonderful, but like genuinely have deep connections to each other. That is what you get with Kier and Locke in here. It is unparalleled. I knew I was gonna love this, and I'm so glad that I reread it and just fell in love with it all over again. And this book is everything to me. Everything to me. I read this after my friend Sophia had read it. She read it as an ARC, and she absolutely fucking loved it. And then I was yelling about the book to her in our chat and our private messages, and I was just yelling at the end. I was giving her a live play-by-play of what was happening. I was screaming, and she was also like, yeah, girl, scream at me. And we were discussing different things and losing our shit together. And then I annotated a copy for her birthday. And it makes me so happy when I have a connection with a friend over a book. It just it levels that book up a little bit. Like, it's like the very first one that I talked about in this video, The Principal Moments. Like, it leveled that book up literally a half star to where it was like, it became a 5-star reading experience for me, even though the book is 4.5 stars. This is a 5-star book, 6-star book. It's one of my favorites. Like, it's changed my brain chemistry when I read it. And I just, oh my God. And I didn't even tell you what it's about. It's about Grey, who is she's basically a magical battery to her mage Kier. And they get tasked basically to rescue this person that is claiming to be something. It's a dangerous quest to protect the child of an enemy kingdom. Pulls them into a dangerous mission. And Grey is also, if Grey dies, like, all magic dies with her because of extenuating circumstances. And it just, everything about this, top tier writing and storytelling and execution and character work and world building and everything else. I am so excited for the next book of this series, because it is a series, but I think they're all like standalone companion novels. I don't think they follow the same characters, but I'm so excited. Anyways, my friends, that is my #1 favorite book of 2025. We had a whole journey to get here, and I'm so glad that I could share that with you. Let me know down below what your favorite book of 2025 is. If you feel like you can solidify it to 1, or maybe 2, or maybe 3, top 3 is also great. I would love to know. I don't think I can nail it down to just 3 that I love out of these, but because I love them all in different ways and for different reasons, as was wax poetic in this video long enough. But I am so glad that you were here. And here's to 2026 being as good, if not even better, for reading and our entire community as a whole. Finding amazing books and talking about them even more. Anyways, my friends, thank you so much for hanging out with me. Stay tuned for next week, where I'm going to be doing a bookish wrapped, and the following week where it's going to be my writing wrapped of 2025. The last 2 videos of the year, my friends. Stay kind and keep on reading.